Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks and welcome to Inkdependence.com. I'm Mike and this is the Namisu Studio. This is a really cool pen. It's made of titanium and ebonite. You see the body is this very nice tapered ebonite cylinder. Very small down here at the butt end of the pen. Thicker up here toward the top. Here is the end cap, the finial, which is titanium. Nice engraved Studio Namisu titanium end cap there. On the other end, plain but pointy. Very cool. Very, very cool. Ebonite gives you a really nice feel in the hand. I really like this sort of hard rubber stuff. And here, inside the pen, it breaks sort of in the middle, although not quite. There's the cap. You can see on the inside, there's ebonite with ebonite's threads. A little screw at the end that holds that titanium finial on. This one also has titanium threads and a titanium nib. I've never used a Bock titanium nib, and that was actually why this friend of mine sent this out for me to check out, because I haven't used a titanium nib before, and titanium nibs are actually kind of cool. We'll do a little writing sample here in a minute where I show you what it does. It's got a little bit of flex to it. Now, you got to be careful with titanium, I hear, because if you flex it too far, it forgets how to go back to its original state. It doesn't have very good memory, is what I hear. But I've had no problems with this one under a little bit of flexing. This is, he says, the titanium extra fine. To my mind, it writes more like a, I don't know, more like a medium most of the time, I suppose, like a Western medium. But this is a pretty cool pen. I want to give you all a look at it. So let's look on the inside right quick. There we go. Lots of turns to open this up, far more than you'll have to uncap it. See, it comes with a converter. You can also use any kind of cartridge you like, standard or long, because there's plenty of room in the barrel to fit those in there. Put the guy back together. It's just a regular push-in converter. It is not a... come on, there we go. Did I do something wrong? Come on. Ah, there we go. Really, there's a little catch up in here that I was bumping up against. Anyway, found the right place. You got to put it right in the center. It's not too hard, though, and you're not going to be taking that off very often. All right, so let's do a quick writing sample with this guy. All right. So this is the Namisu, N-A-M-I-S-U Studio. And is a very cool pen. I've got the Sailor Rikyu-cha in here. Which is a very cool ink that's supposed to look a bit like tea leaves. I think it does a darn good job of looking like tea leaves, if you ask me. You can, since this is supposed to be an extra fine, get some very small marks, if that's what you're into. You can also give it a little bit of a push and get much nicer, like broad brush strokey type marks here. I am not particularly good at flex penning, but you do little thins, much thickers. The feed does generally keep up. I haven't had any problems with it not. You can see it, you get a nice difference in there. It's actually pretty impressive for a nib that's not really branded as flexy stuff, but you can get some nice variation. I've had no problems writing quickly. I did just hiccup a little bit there, but that's not too bad. I probably just picked up. I've written like a bunch of notes with this thing as well, and you'll be happy to know that it is very light. One of the nice things about ebonite is it's got just the right weight, I think, for a pen like this, and it fits nicely in the hand here-ish. Let's go ahead and back out a skosh. Oh, back out. There we go. There you go. See, it sits nicely in the hand, I think. Posted or unposted, this pen posts perfectly, but it also feels really nice unposted as well. I've had no problems with it either way. I do tend to post this pen a bit because I don't want to lose the cap. There's no roll stop or anything on here, and so it can sort of disappear and roll right off the table. It turns out my table here might be at a slight angle because when I put it down, it does tend to roll away. I'm going to have to deal with that. Or maybe it's just sort of, I don't know, man. It's rolling away. Anyway, that's an issue as you get with a clipless pen. A lot of people like the clipless pen. It's not my favorite mode of pen because I generally like to stick it on a placket or something like that on my shirt when I'm at work or walking around a pen show or something of that nature. And you really can't do that with a clipless pen, obviously. One thing you can do is you can put it in one of these little pinned sleeve boot things. I've got one of these. It's a Franklin Christoph one. This is my 45. And this is the smallest version of that, and it fits in there pretty well. If I got one size up, I think it would be even better. But a little pin sleeve boot type thing like this really does improve your life if you've got a clipless pen, I think. So were I to keep this pen, I would definitely get another one of these guys to stick it in. Also, it protects it from banging around against your keys and whatnot in your pocket. It is ebonite, so it's pretty tough, but you can scratch it. And I would, I mean, it would be kind of sad if you did. Although it is ebonite, so I guess you could probably buff it out or something. I don't really know. But probably more forgiving than your acrylics and stuff like that. But I don't really have many ebonite pens. I might have one around here somewhere, but which is one of the really tempting things about this pen. Also, it's just kind of beautiful. It's just sort of a beautiful pen. And look at that thing. It's beautiful. All right, let's line it up next to a couple of other pens. All right, there's the Studio right in there with a bunch of other pens. Of various sizes. You have the pretty large Pelikan M800 here, which you can see is a bit longer and quite a lot heavier, really, than the Nova or the Studio. The ever-present All-Star, the TWSBI Eco, the Platinum 3776, Franklin Christoph Model 20, and the Vanishing Point, all around the same size as the Studio. It is a little bit shorter, uncapped, and all that jazz. But right around the same size. The price for this thing is 140 pounds with this particular nib when it's in stock, and I think it's actually out of stock. Let me just check the stock here. Yeah, sold out. So you can't currently get this from the Namisu site, but you may be able to get it in the future. I imagine you will. But it'll go for 140 pounds, which I think is like, I don't know, like 180 bucks, which is not terrible for a pen like this, which is nicely machined, beautiful fit and finish. I mean, I can't really find a flaw with this, except that it doesn't have a clip, and that doesn't really work for me personally. But if you're a non-clip lover, man, you're going to like this pen, I think. So, I would say try to find yourself a Namisu Studio. I haven't tried the Nova, but this Studio one is really good. I think if it was any lighter, it might be a problem. But the weight on this pen is great. The titanium finials, the titanium nib is really much nicer than I thought it was going to be. It's got a little bit of bendy to it, but it also works perfectly fine for just regular, everyday, not flexy writing. You will get a little bit of line variation, I think, if you apply any pressure. But I tend to write very lightly, and so I don't really get that pressure or that line variation. Anyway, so there you go. This has been the Namisu Studio / Nova. It is a really cool pen. Thanks go out to my buddy who let me borrow this for a little while, and I will see y'all around. You can find me at all the normal places online at inkdependence.com, at inkdependence on Instagram, all of that jazz. I will see y'all later. Peace out. Model 20 Franklin Christoph. Get it in the camera. Good framing, Mike. Professional. Professional grade, that's what they call me.